Hey? All right, let me just there. Found it. Maybe just also for those we're doing problem solving. Maybe for those who missed yesterday's session as well. I have uploaded the PDF versions of all these presentations. However, I would ask that you don't print them. They're very color rich and text rich, and so rather you're welcome to download them and use them, but I would not recommend that you print them. If you're looking for material to, sorry, Casper, are we recording already?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, we are. Okay, so maybe this is for everybody as well. If you want to download and print stuff, if you look under syllabus on the M1 site, there's an overview document, and that's kind of gives you a kind of framework of how we're working. And then there are also lesson plans. And I would invite you, if you've got improvements and you'd like to add to the lesson plans, please let us know. This is a community of practice, and so we share. It's not always just take and take and take, but if you have some really cool ideas and you'd like to share with us, we would love to hear from you. All right, Casper, I'm going to go in presentation mode, and you are gonna monitor the lobby.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay. All right, so let me just start my presentation, and then we can go, and then we can have hopefully a rich discussion when we're finished. Let me just see that. There we go. So we're doing problem solving, and all right. So we're already so well done. We're kind of over the halfway mark, and I think most of the new participants that joined us yesterday would like, okay, so we can build a robot and we can program a robot, but then how do we bring the two together so that we understand where we're going to? And it's always, I think for me, the fun part is when the robots move and they can do things, and then it's like, it's so exciting. All right. So really, to get robots to move is cool, but to get your robots to do something, actually go and do something, and that's where problem solving comes in. And so just plain robot navigation is just defined as the ability of this robot to be able to move in an environment. And I said, kind of as a disclaimer, we said yesterday, the robots we're doing are just wheeled robots. So they can only go forwards and backwards, and then they can go left and right, and they can reverse and that. But and the robot needs to move obviously autonomously. So you program it, and then it must be able to move as it's been programmed to do. But there are also other navigation ways of doing it. So you would have the navigation of a robot in the water is very different to the navigation of a robot in the air. Okay. And what we're going to touch on in the M2 sessions is then how can your sensor data be used in navigation. So your robot will go forward and not fall off a cliff or bump into a wall. So we're going to use sensor data, and that's next week. And then odometry is then the use of this data, and how do we improve it, how we use that to improve the navigation. So I really need you to understand what we're doing now is really the basics of navigation. What are we doing now in navigation? So just straightforward, forwards, backwards, and once you've got that, once your robot can navigate autonomously, it's kind of tick it off the list. Okay, so now linked to navigation is the topic of problem solving, and this is going to become quite a repetitive thing, because you're going to hear that the process of problem solving is always little steps. So you've got to define the problem, you've got to know what the solutions are, then you've got to select and implement. And so your learners, when they start out, they might not know what all the steps are, and you can kind of guide them in exactly what the steps are. But as they are going forward in their robotics education, it'll come naturally. Linked to that are some problem solving skills. And I don't know whether it's a skill, I think it's learned, but it's patience and collaboration and thinking critically and being able to communicate clearly. Those are some of the skills that your team members are going to learn very quickly. And then there are steps that you're in the problem solving, and then there's obviously techniques. My favorite technique is a bit of brainstorming with lots of pens and crayons and papers, and so we can draw and we can communicate clearly what we are trying to achieve. Okay, so that's the problem solving, and now we're going to link up problem solving and navigation of the robot. Okay, so here's some activities. We're going to get back to this later, but keep this in the back of your mind. How does the robot draw the first letter of your name? Okay, how does the robot draw a P? So there's a straight line and then there's a curvy line. How would the robot move around a square shoebox? And how would it move around a rectangular box? All right. How would the robot move in a circle around a bucket? Okay, so these are all different kinds of navigation that you need to program the robot to accomplish. These are tasks that the robot can accomplish. Okay, so just this thing about problem solving, we all know it's a 21st century skill, and it's not learned, it is developed. You need time to develop these 21st century skills. You need time to learn to imagine, to collaborate, to think a bit critically. Time and patience and practice, because actually there's no textbook answer for all this. Okay, robotics in and of itself is complex, and programming is complex, and engineering is complex, but you need patience and perseverance to kind of move along and develop those skills. And after all that, in a class, especially when you're teaching robotics while teaching, there may not be only one correct answer. And I think testimony of that is that I think there's 150,000 robotics teams all over the world. Yeah, not one of them, not two teams robots look the same, and they're competing in the same competition. So keep that in the back of your mind. There's not only one correct answer. All right. And the last sentence, why do we use robotics to teach? And I've got it in quotes, to teach problem solving. It's actually, robotics provides the space, the learning space to develop problem solving skills. We're not teaching problem solving, we are developing problem solving skills. All right. So when you're doing problem solving, you're in that kind of linking, and kind of where the puzzle piece is, you're linking the pieces together. You're always linking the pieces. Must be practical, must be collaborative, and you rediscover the right answer. We don't have the right answer. Okay. It's a bit different to how we used to learn rote, where you memorize the correct answer, because there is no correct answer. And I think at the very core, you need to understand what the problem is. All right. And then kind of what is given, what do we observe, and what is required, and where are we going? And then you define the solution. So what do we have? And then you've got to start somewhere. And different teams of learners might have different criteria for success. Okay. But at all times, they need to be able to vocalize what they're doing. Okay. So here we are, and I'm still hearing people coming into the session. So welcome to everybody. Here we are. Where we are is we have a robot that can move, and we need to understand navigation. And kind of at the bottom, yes, I know we can do touch sensors and optical sensors, but that's not what this is about. This is about getting that basic chassis to move forwards, backwards, left, right. Okay. And whenever you look at solving a problem, you must look what is given, what is known, and then what is required. Okay. And again, I'm going to emphasize, we're only doing navigation for wheeled robots. The next level is the next level. And so there's much more than that. All right. So when we navigate, we know where the robot starts. And I would add here to say that when you start with robotics teams, know where your robot is starting. Okay. Especially when there are multiple starts, the robot must always start exactly the same place. And if it starts at the same place, it's going to end at the same place. And it's going in between start and end, it's going to do the same thing. All right. Your problem solving is required to determine what can accomplish between start and end. And so whether your robot's going out to go around a box, or whether your robot is going out to fetch you a chocolate or a cup of tea, whatever it's doing, that must be programmed. Okay. So this solvum still comes from my good friend, Dr. Tanya Kopp. And so we were trying to think, okay, so how do you get teams to like embrace the solve something? Okay. So and it's out of a book. It's an active learning approach. Okay. Sketch it, draw what you have to do. You've got to go from here to there and back. Okay. What are the objectives? It must go forward and must go backwards. List just what you have. What do you have? You know a distance, you can measure a time, and then you try and manipulate it. All right. So here's our first problem. Okay. This one I'm going to give you, I'm going to guide you through the answer, but that's about it. Next time you're going to solve the problem. Okay. So now we're going to move straight. So we have a distance. There's our distance. So there's the distance from start to stop. So we're going to start here and we're going to end here. And the robot has to travel. So this is from looking down. Okay. We put a piece of insulation tape on the floor, and there we put insulation tape on the floor, and then we've got to travel this distance. Okay. So we've got to move. All right. So
apologies,
yes.
Doctor. Are you sharing the screen? Maybe, unless if it's my computer, I can't see if you are sharing the screen.
I can see the screen, Dr. Gous.
Okay, can you just assist that participant?
Okay, so Millennia, if you maybe just go out of meeting, just return into the meeting, it will most probably come back.
Okay, thank you.
Did you see it earlier?
Yes, Dr. Gous, I can see the screen.
Okay, but did the participant see the screen earlier?
Dr. Gous, I had the same error earlier. I went out, came back in, and I could see then.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much, Elmarie. Thank you. All right. Okay, hopefully that participant comes back soon. All right. Okay, so when you observe, now you've got to think, okay, did it say you've got a robot's got to go forwards or backwards? So it can reverse. Does it matter how fast it goes? That's not what the problem said. Okay, so you can be programmed in rotations, but then in rotations means you know how you've got to know how big the wheel is. Okay, so one rotation of a big wheel may be equal to 4 rotations of a little wheel. So that's a problem. And then does it need to brake at the end? Must it just stop? Okay, so now we kind of, this is where you observe. How are you going, and it's good to talk about it, not just assume that you know. All right. So in my little example robot, the distance I need to travel is 50 centimeters. Then I measured the circumference of the wheels, and I'll show you now a quick way of measuring the circumference of a wheel just with a tape measure. So that is the distance it's going to travel in one rotation. So then we can calculate it. If it's got to go 50 centimeters and its one circumference is 17.8, then you divide 50 by 70.8, and then you get the number of rotations, which is 2.81 rotations. So that is how many turns the wheel has got to do. All right. So that's that solved. Okay. So to go from start to finish, you program your robot to go 2.81 rotations and then stop, and that's it. Okay. I will do the code just now. Okay. Now it's going to get a bit more difficult. Now we say, well, actually, we can change the power level. We can change the power level. If we go at 50% power or 100% power, and you obviously know at 0% power, the robot is not going to move as well. You know that. Okay. So now what have we got? Again, we've got to start here. So here we're starting. That's the distance, and we can measure the time. Everybody's got a stopwatch or a what you call a cell phone. You can use a cell phone, and then we're going to stop. Now we're going to say, what about the different power levels? Okay, so now we're thinking, how do we do that? Well, first of all, let's observe. Well, it's hard to measure speed directly, okay? But we've got the distance and we've got the time, and you know you can calculate it. Excellent. The other one is, and you're probably noticing now, there's something about acceleration and deceleration. All right, so what you can do is make the robot start just before the line and then measure the time when it goes over the start line to where it goes after the stop line. So then you've got the acceleration excluded. Okay. So then how do we measure power settings? Well, then we can change the power settings. We keep the number of rotations constant, and then we'll just change the power. So we go 10% power, 20% power, 30% power, 40% power. So you would just think that because the more power you have, the faster it's going to go. Because very much like when you travel in a car, you know, the faster you go. All right. So then we have to see what we've got. List the variables. We've got the distance. We've got a further distance. We've got 1.5 meters, which we've measured. The circumference is 17.8. Now remember, the 1.5 is meters. So in centimeters, that's 150. Okay. We can calculate the number of rotations that we can do, and then we've got to measure the time it takes for different power settings. All right. So then the time measure that we can measure and the speed we can calculate because the distance stays the same, but the time will change. Okay. So then we put all our equations together. We've got distance, we've got circumference, we've got rotations, and again, we can mix that around. So if you take the rotations, distance over circumference, 150 divided by 17.8 gives you 8.43. So that's sorted. Okay. And then we've got the velocity is distance over time for a given power level. Okay. So that we can calculate. Great. And then we set up a table. Okay. And then the cool thing would be is if you can take this and you put it on a graph. So now you've done a physics experiment, you've done graphing, which is part of maths, and you're still in the robotics class. Okay. And then there's active learning because the learners are thinking, oh, I can solve this problem. So there we go. Okay. Just sometimes you just need to guide them. Okay. So where do we lead? Where does this lead to? So where are the problems that the learners can solve? Well, the problems are, for example, that there's a robotics challenge and it's got different missions. So that you can use as examples of challenges or problems to solve. All right. There are building instructions that you can use. There are programming examples. Watch how they solve a problem and then think, well, if we program our robot, then maybe we can do similar. Okay. There are lots of online tutorials and there's lots of YouTube videos, and we'd love for you to share them with us if you find anything awesome. Okay. So I'm going to pause on this one to say there's other problem solving, and these are from discussions of saying how they've been using robotics to teach problem solving skills. And I'll maybe read one or two of them and think, can you write such a similar article after you've presented problems this class to your learners? Is there anything that you observe as the coach that you can use to share as problem solving? Okay, but there's another effort of problem solving and this is where you as the coach need to be able to debug. Okay, and that is part of M3, which we'll eventually get to. The robot itself, there are things that you as the coach need to recognize immediately. All right. And so this is Dr. Hino is a really cool problem solving in the robotics class. And I think it is compiled from many years of experience. Okay. So what he says is there are certain problems that you as the coach are going to recognize immediately. Okay. The one thing is if the wires are not connected to the ports, and so the program doesn't address what is actually there, and then, oh my word, then the robot doesn't work and it's not moving. And okay, so the one thing is there. Then you've got to check, and I said just now, if the power setting is 0, it's quick and easy to make a problem like that. It's not going to go either. Number of rotations is 0. It's not going to go anywhere. But look through these 3 links and see whether there is anything that you identify with. And it's good to have it in the back of your head because then you can, in the robotics class, think, maybe that's where it is. The wires in the wrong ports is a big issue. The not connecting, so not even connected to a wire, not even wrong ports, there are no wires. And test the wires. Test the wires before you assume that everything is wrong. All right. The wire is faulty. Okay. So that's the robot. This is you as a coach. This is where you need to solve the problems in the class. All right. So again, here we're back to the activities of Unit 3. All right. So if you think, how does you draw your first name? Okay. So you're going to have to program it to go so many rotations, then turn, and then come back. All right. The L is easier because then you just turn at 90 degrees. So an L is straight and straight. Okay. If you want the robot to move around a square, okay, then that is easier also because you just, you're going to go straight, stop, turn, straight, stop, turn, straight, stop. You can do it 4 times. Okay. With rectangle, it's a bit more difficult because you've got a long side and you've got a short side. Okay. So you're going to have go down the short side, stop, turn, go down the long side, stop, turn, go down the short side, stop, turn, go down the long side. Okay. And I can tell you as much as possible how to do it, but unless you actually do it, there ain't going to be many learning. All right. So I just hinted that. All right. That's the end of my first session of slideshow. So I'm going to ask, are there any questions? Is there anybody that wants to add anything? Anybody? I'm going to put my camera on. Are we all okay with how to solve a problem?
If anybody has a question, please feel free to raise your hand.
Is the chat not available yet?
I don't know if the chat is available. Yes, we have a hand.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you can unmute. There we go.
Hi, ma'am. I want to ask if under rotation, then I change my robot to be in the second. Is still correct? Eh?
Okay, so this is a you can do that, but with seconds, it has an impact on your number of rotations depending on your battery power level. So just as a rule of thumb, if you're going to go a longer distance with your robot, and by longer distance is like 20 or 30 centimeters, I teach my learners to use rotations. If we're going to make short moves, if we're going to make short moves, so the robot is going forward and it needs to just to turn slightly, then this is rotations, because if a 90 rotation is just where's my camera? There we go. So if you have the wheel there and a 90 rotation on the wheel just goes like that, okay, that's a 90-degree rotation. It's a shorter distance, okay. Time on seconds we usually use on powered attachments, and I'll explain that to you next week. Yeah, powered attachments is more on rotations where you're lifting arms, grabbing arms, but you can try.
All right.
It's just a rule of thumb. It's just been working for me. All right.
Okay.
Excellent. Is your robot moving?
Yes.
Awesome. Well done. Okay. Sure. We've got robots on the move here. This is excellent. Thank you very much for that. Yes, your hand is still up. Would you like to say something else? No. Okay. All right. There's some brave robots on the move there. Excellent.
Yeah. If anybody still has a question, please feel free to raise your hand, or if you can for some mic problems, you can use the chat area.
Maybe it's a good time to ask, so how many did install the software? And have you been playing around with it, and do you understand how the software works? Because now we're going to ask some questions.
Come again, ma'am.
Yes.
I said, now we're going to ask, have you installed the software?
Okay. Just on the class, we have a hand from Mabure. If you want to maybe unmute and ask your question.
Hi, Mabure.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes.
Afternoon.
Okay, can I check? I've just joined due to network issues. So even yesterday I couldn't join. So I'm checking which software you are talking about. If you mind to share the name of the software so that I can also download it.
Okay, so I would highly recommend that you watch the recording for yesterday's sessions, that you're just up to speed in the programming. What robotics kit do you have, Mabure?
With me, I don't have any robotics kit.
Not yet.
Not yet, yeah.
Okay, so there on the screen, can you see on the screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, so if you have a Spike Prime robotics kit, then you use that software there on the side here.
Okay.
So you will just Google Spike Prime download.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome. There we go.
Thank
you. You're very welcome.
Okay. We have a hand from Mr. Vuzi.
Hello, Vuzi. The same Vuzi from yesterday.
Yes, Dr. Khas.
Cool. Vuzi, do you want to unmute? Oh dear.
We have another hand, Dr. Gous.
Hi, Liesel.
Hi, doctor. I just want to find out quickly. I've been trying
Yes.
to get a hold of a loan kit because I'm not in the vicinity. So
I'm no longer
what
hearing
I'm
you,
asking
ma'am.
them- Can you hear
I'm
me?
no longer.
Can you hear
Yes,
me
Alisa.
clearly?
Yes,
Yes,
Dr.
very
Gous, we can
clearly.
hear you.
Okay. So I'm not in the vicinity, so I've been trying to get a hold of loan kits. And I've been contacting some people. Can you maybe just explain to me what the procedure is when you offer loan kits to interested people, so I can just understand like what the process is, and
Okay, so
I
Liesel,
can
are you
bring.
teaching at a school?
I'm not. I'll take on the form of a coach. I'm not teaching.
Okay.
My background is in IT, so I have a degree in software development.
Okay.
I'm more on the business side, I would say. Then I also have an interest in research, and of late
Okay.
robotics. So I want to get to learn and more about robotics, teach myself, see maybe if our son is interested because he has shown an interest at school for this.
Okay.
And now I want to do the actual training myself. Start
Okay.
by doing
Email
that.
me,
But
Liesel. Email me.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay, Doc, I'll do that.
Let's see whether
I'll
we can
do
make a plan. All right, but this is going
Okay.
to be research as well. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I have an interest in child computer interaction. So anything related to children excites me since really starting a family. Before I had different research interests, now I have this interest, and I can so I can see how it can tie into the robotics, and I want to do all things children and kind of like grow with the children as it goes because we have two. And in general, I just love education. And that's also coming from a historic point of view. But I'll email you, and then we
I
can
think
take it
there
from.
might be a collaboration happening. Yeah.
I also
Okay.
think so. That's why I'm here.
Excellent.
Okay, I'll
All
email
right.
you. Thank you.
Thanks, Liesel. Awesome. Excellent. You see, you just never know what's going to happen on a day, ne? Never know. Awesome. Okay, so that's Liesel. Motswana, KTC. Motswana, you have your hand up? No.
Yes, yes. Good afternoon. I'd just
Yes.
like to find out from a school, how do we get hold of the kids? Because the kids that we have at our school, they're for grade 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So for
Okay.
all the for senior grades, like grade 7, how
Okay,
are we
ma'am,
able to?
what do you have? We do kits. What kits do you
Yes,
have? Okay, so that's grade 1, 2, and 3. Yeah.
yes, that's all we
Okay,
have.
and you are at a school.
Yes, I'm a teacher at a
Okay.
school.
Awesome. So maybe also send me an email. We have some loan kits, and we can maybe talk maybe just to get started at your school. That's possible. Okay.
Okay, perfect. I'll do that.
All right.
Thank you.
Excellent. And I'm assuming you've got a whole team of teachers that are encouraged by your work.
Yes, we do. We actually have like a whole team of 15 teachers that are in robotics.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, we're actually one of the schools that you're supposed to start working with. I spoke to you about it last year during the what? The competitions at UNISA.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Together with Cheryl.
You need to send me an email so that I can brush up on the details of this one. Awesome. Cool.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. There we go. All right.
Okay.
Let me find some details of that one. All
Okay,
right.
doctor.
Okay. No more. Mabore, yes.
Yeah, it's me again. Sorry to bother
Hello.
you. How
You're
do
not
I get
bothering me.
hold of? Oh, okay. Thank you, ma'am. How
No,
do I
you're
get
not.
hold of recordings, and how do I like get your email? Is it on the circular for joining this meeting? Can I find it there? Okay, because I'm an e-learning specialist in my district, and I'm training teachers on coding and robotics. But as a new specialist, I do not have much information to share with the teachers. So I need as much information as possible so that when I train.
I give you lots.
So Dr. Gous, I can maybe add on this.
Ori,
So this
can you
is
see on the screen?
Say again, ma'am.
Can you see on the screen?
Yes, I can.
This is our YouTube channel.
Yes.
This is our YouTube channel. You can use all those recordings.
So we have every single type of playlist that we, all the types of subjects that we have already done in the past. For example, we have M2. This is the version above it. One of our previous M1 sessions that we have. A robotics. So this is all the robotics software that we did in all the types of online and virtual ways of using robotics. And then we also have robotics and environmental sciences. So we're also going to have a environmental sciences part 3 in the end of this month, if not mistaken, Dr. Gous.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I've got about 18 schools doing coding and robotics. They are pilot schools, and most of them do not have kids. So I'm also interested in getting the lone kids you're talking about.
Okay.
So, but then we'll talk further on email. I'll send you one.
Mabore, before you go away, are you aware of the massive open online courses?
For UNISA?
Yes. Were you in our session yesterday?
No, I wasn't in the session yesterday. That is why I'm asking all these questions. Okay. I'm very sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. I'm just going to ask, thanks, Casper, for showing the YouTube channel.
And also it has the link to the MOOC site also for everybody that's looking for the MOOC site also.
Okay, can you share the MOOC site or should I share the MOOC site quickly?
If I'm not mistaken, Similar's.
If it's possible, kindly share in the chat all the links available.
How we get to go to the MOOC site or MOOC portals. You simply go to the Google tab, simply type MOOC UNISA. Once you're done, you click on your account and then you click on your account. When you are done, I'll encourage you that where it's written user ID, you fill in your name. For example, Dumelo123. Please don't fill in your ID number. Then you fill in your first name, last name, your email address, as well as you create a password. Before you click on create account, kindly please take a screenshot of all the details that you have taken, because it's very important for you to remember your username as well as your email address and your password. And please note that the email address that you have signed up with is the email address that we are going to use in order for us to send you your certificate after you have completed your portfolio. Please note once again that these sites or courses are for free, and these sites are for anyone who is interested. You do not have to be affiliated with UNISA. You don't have to be a UNISA student. You don't have to be a past UNISA student. These MOOC sites are certainly for free. So once you've created all your details, you are going to log in. After logging in, this is the page that you are going to see. For those of you that are using a cell phone, I'll encourage you that you kindly please click on Tools. After clicking on Tools, these are the tabs that you are going to see. For example, if you're using a laptop, you can see underneath the UNISA logo, it's written Overview, Profile, and Membership. So we are going to click on Membership. On your side, it will write that you are not registered for any course. So what you do, you simply click on Joinable Sites. After clicking on Joinable Sites, you are now going to choose whether you want to enroll for ISET Robotics M1 2023 or Robotics and Environmental Sciences or DBE 001 and 2. You then scroll down looking for them. Immediately you see any course that you are interested in, you click on join. After clicking join, it'll redirect you to my current sites. And then on my current site, the site that you have joined will appear. For example, this one, ISET Robotics M1 2023. What you simply do, you click on it. When you click on it, this will be your homepage and you are officially part of the MOOC site or the MOOC community, if I should say that. Thank you. Is there any question related to this?
Thank you so much. I have done DBE 1 and 2 before.
Okay.
So, but I'm not sure if I received, I don't think I received a certificate.
Did you complete your portfolio?
I guess so, but I'll go back and check. So is it the same site where we have completed DBE 1 and 2?
Yes,
Correct.
yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, all right. I will
And
go.
then, so sorry to cut you there, Ms. Likalala. If you do have any
Kalakala.
question, Likalaka, if you
Yes.
do have any questions, you can send us here and then we'll keep in touch.
Okay, thank you so
Yes,
much.
just go and double check and then we'll take it from there.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And also Tumelo hosts a Q&A session every Friday at 3 o'clock. And so you're welcome to join that. You can join the session. So just send him an email, and even if he can't see you, if you can't make the Friday session, he can set up another session with you. All right.
Yes. On that note, the Friday sessions are, I guess we can call them the progress sessions. For example, for the new participants, if you are new on this MOOC community or this live online learning community, and you have joined either of the sessions, what we can do is that immediately when you join, I'll guide you of what you do. And then I'll give you a task of you completing unit 1 within a week. And then if you do experience any issues within that week, you can send us an email. And then we can even request to meet me during the week. And then so that I help you in terms of progressing. It's like I'm guiding you, I'm holding you by hand up until you finish. Thank you so much, Dr. Khos.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And can I check if lastly, can I check if I'll be able to do all those without the kits, the robotics kits?
The M1 and M2 you can do without the kits, but for the DBE 001 and DBE 002 you can do. Those are theory MOOCs, but you will, I think for learning experiences, you will need the robotics kit for M1, definitely, and M2.
Okay.
Because it's practical. It's about learning in a practical environment.
All
so
right.
then
Thank you so much.
maybe we need to get a loan kit to you. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. But there are options, and what we really want you to, because there's also virtual options. What we do really kind of encourage is collaboration between the schools, but not to just sit there and say, well, I can't do it. We can make a plan. If the science center needs to visit your school, then we can working on a plan there. If we need to loan you equipment, then we will make a plan there. If you need to collaborate with other NGOs or schools, then we'll make a plan. But to say nothing is we don't know that there's a problem. And so we're rather about solutions. That's why we do problem solving. We're about solutions. We'll find a way, and let's see what we can do. Okay. Thanks, Tumelo, for that. Yes, Marie? Excellent. All right. And I just say thanks to Melo again for that comprehensive presentation again. I see Ozias has got a hand up again.
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask Tumelo. Tumelo will send us a link for Friday because we are new here.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Not a problem, yes. And I can also suggest that quickly send us an email on ISET so that I quickly send you while we still in the hot mood.
Okay.
Sweet.
Address it
Thank
before I
you.
forget it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Phew. That was a good diversion. There we go. And you see, it's good to ask questions. And what I also noticed over the sessions that we've had is that usually when you do ask a question, there are probably 10 more people in the session that would have liked to have asked the question. And thank you for asking the question. All right. I see we've got 2 more joining us. All right. Are there any other issues that you need to raise? Any questions that you need? All right. I'm not sure. Can you all see the chat? Tamelo is putting on the chat. I just want to make sure that everybody has access to the chat. Maybe you can't write on it. Tamelo, I don't think everybody has access. Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go. There are all the links on the chat. Thank you so much for that. Okay. All right. Let's just have a look. Are there any more questions? Awesome. I can't see any more questions. Casper, can you confirm?
Yes, Dr. Just as we said, we have a hand, Dr. House.
Okay. Hi, Tobile. Hi, Tobile.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
So far, so good. Yes.
I still don't have access to the chat.
Yeah, we've noticed that. It's how this meeting was set up. But you can't type on it, but you can read what's on the chat.
I do not.
I also don't have access.
Can you not even see the links on the chat?
No, I can't.
All right. In that case, can you send an email to i-set@unisa.ac.za, and as soon as you send the email, they'll send you all the links.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're very welcome. Nao, yes. Hi, Nao. Nao, do you want to unmute? Doesn't look like Nao's unmuting. Nao, do you want to unmute and add? No. Okay. Matabu, you want to unmute yourself? I don't think anybody can unmute themselves. Casper, is there any way we can unmute these participants? Reason, do you want to unmute? Nao, do you want to unmute?
Hi.
Hi, yes.
Hello. I wanted to ask, is there a way of getting the previous lessons, because I just joined?
Okay, so if you go onto the MOOC portal, all the presentations are available in PDF, and all the recordings will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome, Nao. All right. Tabo?
Yes, I just want to ask, you can hear me now, right?
Yes, yes.
I just want to ask here, I'm in a school environment and we are running with robotics program already. So what I want to ask is, this UNISA program, is it there to help only let me say teachers and other people who have joined, or is it possible that you can kind of give support to people who are running this robotics in schools, like helping us in terms of coordinating it with learners?
I don't know what the extent of the request is, but we do have a number of NGOs running robotics in communities and in schools. We have teachers, we have students, we have facilitators in science centers. This is all about advancing robotics education through science engagement. Yes.
Okay. So what I wanted to find out, is it possible for UNISA to give that support specifically to schools which request it, that kind, or seek that kind of support?
Let's have a meeting offline and see what your support that you need entails. All right.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Do we want learners to participate in robotics competitions? Absolutely. Are we willing to travel? Absolutely. Okay. Cool.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Okay. Okay. Nao, do you want to still add something? Nao?
No, I'm fine, ma'am.
You're fine. Okay. That's just a high five.
I'm fine, ma'am.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay.
All right. And Reason? Reason, you have your hand up? Hi, Reason. Reason, you have your hand up. You want to unmute? No. All right. Reason. Okay. All right. So, sure, that was a good first session. That was Unit 3, and that was problem solving. And I really encourage you to take your robot and whatever your robot looks like. I'm looking where is a little robot, and stick a Koki pen to the side and let it draw on a piece of paper your name. Right, grammar to just make one letter. And if you've got one letter, please share the videos with us. It'll be cool to see where you have solved the problem. All right. And those whose name starts with an L, that's very easy. And an O, it's very easy. It's that S that's more difficult. The T is not too bad because you're going to go straight and then you're going to come back and then you're going to go down. So let's see what we can do. Nao, your hand is up again. Yes.
Hi, ma'am. How do you access the MOOC? Because it says it wants the username and password.
All right. So if we have time at the end of the session, Tumela will explain again to you. You need to create your own account.
Okay.
Okay. Let's just go through the session, and if there's time, Tumela will then guide you again through the process. Right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. If you're going to Google MOOC UNISA, one of the options there is create new account. If you want to get started there. Okay. Excellent. All right. Okay, so let's do session 4 already, and this is the last session of M1. And so we've got the robot, we've programmed the robot, we've done some problem solving, and now we're going